Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Jagdish, Professor of Chemistry, Department of Chemistry, JSS Academy of Technical Education. In our last class, we discussed about corrosion, causes for corrosion, factors which influence corrosion, and also different theories of corrosion. In that, number one, we discussed acid theory. Number two, dry or chemical theory. Number three, the most important, wet or electrochemical corrosion. Then we discussed the factors which influence the corrosion and also what are the effects of the corrosion. Today, we will discuss different types of electrochemical corrosion and also the prevention and control of corrosion. Let us discuss types of electrochemical corrosion. In types of electrochemical corrosion, the number one is galvanic corrosion, number two, pitting corrosion, number three, crevasse corrosion, number four, concentration cell corrosion, number five, waterline corrosion, and number six, microbiological corrosion. Let us take the first one, galvanic corrosion. This type of corrosion takes place when when two, when two metals are coupled and exposed to atmospheric conditions. The metal with high reduction potential has more tendency to reduce and form cathode, while the metal with low reduction potential has a tendency to get oxidized and form anode. For example, you take zinc copper galvanic cell. Here, zinc has low reduction potential so that it behaves as anode and oxidation occurs. And copper behaves as cathode where the reduction takes place. So here, when two metals are coupled, the metal which is having low reduction potential that will act as anode, the metal which is having higher reduction potential acts as cathode. So that a galvanic cell or electric cell is formed with anode and cathode. At anode, oxidation will take place. At cathode, reduction will take place, and the corrosion products that will be in between cathode and anode. This is based on the electrochemical corrosion principle. Right? Next, we may move on to pitting corrosion. Let us consider a water drop on the surface of metal. The metal surface covered by water drop lacks oxygen and thus acts as anode, while the metal surface, which is open due to high oxygen concentration, acts as cathode. Thus, formation of anode and cathode areas set up difference of potential at localized spots to pit. This type of corrosion is non-uniform and results in the formation of pits, cavities, and holes. Again, here the basic principle is electrochemical corrosion. So here also the anode and cathode are formed based on the concentration in the oxygen. Right? At the anode, oxidation will take place. At cathode, reduction will take place. We call this type of corrosion as pitting corrosion. The next one is concentration cell corrosion. Let us consider a metal which is dipped in an electrolyte. The dipped area of the metal behaves as anode. That is mainly due to the lack of oxygen, while the rest portion or area behaves as cathode because it is well oxygenated part. For example, let us consider a copper metal dipped in an electrolyte. Right? So the portion of the metal which is inside the electrolyte solution that acts as anode, and the rest of the portion acts as cathode. So At anode, oxidation occurs, that is, copper undergoes oxidation to give Cu2 plus and 2 electrons. And at cathode, oxygen takes up electron to form OH minus ions. This oxygen, in presence of moisture H2O, that is, reacts with electrons to form hydroxyl ions. Then Cu2 plus reacts with hydroxyl ions to form CuOH twice, that is a form of rest. Right? This is a type of absorption oxygen type of corrosion. Next type is waterline corrosion. To understand waterline corrosion, let us consider a steel water tank. When water is in stagnant in a steel tank, the concentration of oxygen above the water surface greater than that of under the surface. This generates an oxygen cell or oxygen concentration cell. So in this metal surface, the metal surface which is above the water level rich in oxygen behaves as cathode, and the metal below the water where the lack of oxygen is there, that will act as anode. Thus, corrosion occurs at anodic part, that is part of the metal below the water level where you will find the rust formation. We call this type of corrosion as waterline corrosion. Okay. Next, coming to the prevention of corrosion and control of corrosion. Metals is protected from corrosion by different methods. Let us take the number one, hot dipping. In this, you will come across two types. One is galvanization, whereas another one is tinning. In galvanization, what we do, a metal is protected from corrosion by dipping it in molten zinc. This process is called galvanization. In this process, the metal is coated by a layer of zinc and hence it is protected. Second one is tinning. If a metal is protected from corrosion by dipping it in molten tin, the process is called tinning. In this process, a layer of tin coated on the surface of the metal. Thereby, one can prevent the corrosion. Next one is metal cladding. The process to protect the base metal against corrosion by sandwiching the base metal between the two passive metals such as nickel, copper, lead, silver is known as metal cladding. It is very simple. Here you will base metal is sandwiched between the two passive metals. Thereby the corrosion is prevented. Next one is metal spraying. In this process, molten metal is sprayed on the clean surface of a metal for its protection from corrosion. It helps to protect towers and bridges. Right? The metal spraying. This is one of the beautiful technique wherein the molten metal is spreaded on the cleaner surface of the metal for its protection from corrosion. It is mainly used to protect the towers and bridges. Next one is packed cementation. Here, heating a base metal with another powdered metal is called cementation. The powdered metal forms a coat on the base metal and hence protects it from the corrosion. Next one is electroplating. Electroplating is an electrochemical process in which base metal is coated by zinc, silver, chromium, gold, tin, etc. to protect it from corrosion and also to make it shining and decorative. Here, the base metal is made cathode, dipped in a suitable electrolyte, and the metal to be deposited is made as anode. Next one is inorganic coatings. It includes phosphate, chromate, and oxide coatings. Iron, manganese, and zinc phosphates are generally used for the phosphate coating. The process of coating is slow, but it is accelerated by copper salts. Phosphate coating results in the formation of a surface film which prevents corrosion. Chromate coating is done by acid or by potassium chromate. The chromate coating is better than phosphate coating. It resists from corrosion and gives more shining to the metal. So for that reason, the chromate coating is preferred than the phosphate coating. Next, coming to organic coating. In organic coating, the paints we use in organic coating, we use paints, varnishes, enamels, lacquers, emulsion paints are included in organic coating. They not only protect the base metal from corrosion but also gives a good look to the metal. Organic goods must have a chemical inertness, good surface adhesiveness, non-effectiveness towards chemicals and water. Next one is water repellent paints. These are the recent, these are very recent. They are organosilicon compounds which on hydrolysis give a permanent coat that can work for 4 to 6 years as corrosion resistant. So these are the some of the methods to control the or prevent the corrosion. And we have some more methods in that we have electrochemical method for protection of corrosion. This is a very good method to control the corrosion. In that, we will come across the number one, sacrificial anodic protection. Here, underground steel pipes are protected from corrosion by this method. A magnesium rod is fixed near the metal under protection, and both are connected with a conducting wire. Magnesium is more positive than iron, and hence in electrochemical cell it acts as anode and iron acts as cathode. According to the principle of galvanic cell, it is the anode that undergoes oxidation and hence corrosion occurs at anode, saving the cathode, that is iron, from the corrosion. Thus, magnesium sacrifices itself for saving the iron, right? So here you have the picture, if we look into the picture, this is the you have a underground steel pipe, and besides you have a magnesium rod that is under suitable electrolyte. Both the magnesium rod and the steel pipe are connected to insulated copper wire. And here magnesium that acts as anode and the steel pipe acts as cathode, and the oxidation takes place as anode and thereby corrosion occurs, and due to this the steel pipe is protected from corrosion. Next one is cathodic protection by impulsed current. In this method, an impulsed current is applied in opposite direction to nullify the corrosion current and convert the corroding metal from anode to cathode. That is most important. The impulsed current is derived from a DC source and given to insoluble anode like graphite, stainless steel, or scrap iron buried in soil. The negative terminal of DC is connected to pipeline to be protected. The anode is kept back a black film that is composed of gypsum or coke to increase electrical contact with surrounding soil so that the corrosion is prevented. The main applications are open water box coolers. It is used in open water box coolers, water tanks, condensers, buried water or gas pipelines, transmission line towers, marine pipes, etc. The another important type of corrosion is microbiological corrosion. Microbiological corrosion is caused by the metabolic activity of various microorganisms and can occur under aerobic and anaerobic conditions. It may be due to number one, direct chemical action of H2SO4 formed by the oxidation of sulfur or sulfide by members of Theobacillus. It leads to massive and rapid corrosion of metal, concrete, and limestone. Second one is generation of local electrochemical cells due to the changes in pH, concentration, and oxidation potentials as microbiological film is formed on iron surface. So these are the methods from which we can control the corrosion. So here in prevention and control, we will come across number of methods as I just told in that number one is hot dipping method where you uh, will use galvanization or tinning method, and we discussed metal cladding, metal spraying, pack cementation, electroplating, plating in organic coatings and organic coatings, and also we discussed the electrochemical method for protection, corrosion in that sacrificial anodic protection and microbiological corrosion. Thank you very much.